The Marvel Cinematic Universe has seen a lot of villains come and go since its inception in 2008, a lot of whom are undoubtedly gone for good. But some of the supposedly deceased bad guys could come back, given the nature of their deaths. In this video, we'll take a look at some of those villains who may still be alive in the MCU. And be warned, it contains MCU spoilers. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's the best way of keeping up to date with all of Screen Rant's great new videos.
Trying to rid the world of weapons? You gave it its best one ever!
Obadiah Stane. Obadiah Stane was the MCU's first major villain back in 2008's Iron Man. He worked alongside Tony Stark running Stark Industries, but was secretly plotting to kill the genius, billionaire, playboy, and philanthropist so he could take over the company. At the movie's climax, he fought Stark whilst wearing the Ironmonger armor, but Stark defeated him by overloading the large arc reactor powering the building they were fighting on, which unleashed a massive electrical surge, causing Stane to fall into the reactor as it exploded. This apparently killed him, but given that it was a comic book movie and the fact that most of his body was covered with armor, you just never know. Some people believe Stane is the MCU's real Mandarin, and that he's still operating behind the scenes. If he was to re-emerge, nobody would complain because Jeff Bridges put in a great performance.
No more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Ulysses Klaue. 2018's Black Panther had two great villains in the form of Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger and Andy Serkis's Ulysses Klaue, both of whom died in the movie. While Killmonger's death seems insurmountable, given the nature of Klaue in the comics, there's every chance he could actually come back. The reason for that is because, in the comics, Klaue created a device that turned him into a being composed entirely of sound. Maybe just before he died in the Black Panther, he activated a device that did exactly that, converting his life essence into psionically solidified sound.
Put some music on. What do you think this is, the funeral?
Even though the MCU now includes talking raccoons and walking trees, it all sounds a bit too ridiculous, but it certainly shouldn't be ruled out. If Serkis' character was to return in this new form in the next phase of the MCU, fans of the franchise would certainly welcome it, because the British actor really was fantastic in the role.
I can't believe you're alive. I saw you die. I mourned you. I cried for you.
I'm honored.
Loki. Until Thanos appeared and showed every other bad guy up, Loki had been the best and most prominent villain in the MCU, although on a number of occasions he's also shown his more heroic side. One of those occasions resulted in his death in this year's Avengers Infinity War, when he attempted to trick the Mad Titan into believing he was ready to serve him, before lunging at him with a blade. Thanos saw it coming, and he proceeded to kill him by choking him to death and breaking his neck. Or did he? Loki is the god of mischief and a master of illusion, so could the adoptive son of Odin actually be alive and well, having somehow made it look like he was killed?
Kneel before your queen.
Hela. Hela was one of several villains in 2017's Thor Ragnarok, and one of the others, the giant fire demon Surtur, seemingly killed her when he destroyed Asgard. Cate Blanchett's character was directly beneath the monster's feet as he started smashing everything below him, and although she attempted to put up a fight, it did indeed look as though she perished. But Hela is the self-proclaimed Asgardian goddess of death, so could it be possible that she can't actually die? And if that's the case, could she actually return to the MCU in the future?
I thought you'd be happy to see me.
She was awesome, so her return would be most welcome, and it would be particularly cool if she took her place at the side of Thanos, revealing herself as the MCU version of Mistress Death. She seemed every bit as powerful as Thor, if not more so, and she recently survived a power gem energy explosion and the force of a star, so there's every chance Hela survived the fall of Asgard.
Then Thanos, I'm coming for you.
Ronan. Ronan was another somewhat underwhelming villain and the main antagonist in 2014's otherwise fantastic Guardians of the Galaxy. Thanos had asked him to retrieve the orb for him, but when Ronan discovered it was actually the Power Stone, he kept it for himself. However, the titular team of heroes were able to remove it from his grasp and use it against him, joining forces to wield it and use its energy to destroy him. But given what happened to Red Skull after Captain America the First Avenger, we now know fatalities related to Infinity Stones aren't necessarily deaths. The Power Stone's energy could have sent Ronan to parts unknown or absorbed him into the stone itself. The Kree Warlord will return to the MCU, but only in Captain Marvel as far as we know, and that's a prequel. Maybe if that movie makes him more interesting and popular, Marvel Studios will reveal he's still alive in the future.
Open for Ebony Maw.
Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw was definitely the most interesting member of Thanos' Black Order in 2018's Avengers Infinity War, and we'd love to see more of him in the MCU. Sadly, the Mad Titan's hype man seemed to die when Iron Man and Spider-Man teamed up to send him into the vacuum of space, where he quickly froze. Unlike the other Black Order members, however, there could be a way back from this supposed death. Maw was an incredibly powerful sorcerer with amazing telekinetic abilities, and he was as creepy as a horror villain, so killing him off totally would be a shame. In the comics, Maw has his own agenda, often plotting against Thanos, and it would be cool to see something like that in the MCU in the future.
It's better this way. We are both of us out of time.
Arnim Zola. Arnim Zola was first seen in the MCU's Captain America the First Avenger, when he was the head of scientific research for Hydra and the right-hand man of the Red Skull. He was captured by the military and his fate was left unknown until 2014's Captain America the Winter Soldier, when it was revealed he had died, but his consciousness was preserved in an old computer in a S.H.I.E.L.D. bunker. He used his connection to S.H.I.E.L.D.'s network to launch a missile that blew the bunker up in an attempt to kill Steve Rogers and Natasha Romanoff. And while they managed to survive the impact, the suggestion was that the computers in the bunker were destroyed along with Zola's consciousness. But the very nature of a network means he could have escaped onto the internet.
Look around you. I have never been more alive.
If that's the case, we could see him reappear in his classic robot body from the comics, and that would be pretty cool, huh?
You're afraid
Of you.
of death.
Ultron. Ultron was the inadvertent creation of Tony Stark and Bruce Banner as they sought to put a suit of armor around the world. When Ultron came to life, his interpretation of saving the world was to exterminate humans, and a battle between the Avengers and the army of robots he created ensued. He was believed to be dead when Vision killed the last of his drones, but Ultron wasn't just a physical being. He was a program who could jump between his own drones and any computer in the world. Who's to say he isn't hiding out on the internet right now in the MCU? Like Arnim Zola, just because the technology his consciousness was housed in was destroyed doesn't mean he hasn't moved said consciousness elsewhere. He could be hiding out, building a more powerful body as we speak, which frankly would be very cool.
This world doesn't have to die, Doctor. This world can take its rightful place alongside so many others as part of the one.
Kaecilius. In 2016's Doctor Strange, Kaecilius appeared to perish when he was sucked into the Dark Dimension during the movie's climactic battle. However, along with his zealots who were sucked into the mysterious realm with him, the villainous sorcerer appeared to turn into a dark, almost featureless being with a singular, glowing red eye. Anyone familiar with Marvel's comic books will know they might actually have been transformed into mindless ones by Dormammu.
You just had to say it, didn't you?
The mindless ones. Dormammu's unliving beasts of stone.
With that in mind, Kaecilius may currently still be alive, but in the form of one of Dormammu's mindless minions, and given the very nature of magic, there's every chance he could actually be transformed magically back into his original self. He wasn't a terrible villain, but it's fair to say it wouldn't be particularly exciting to have him back, and there are many superior Doctor Strange rogues who could be brought to the big screen, which makes the fact that it could happen pretty underwhelming.
You needn't have come so far, Asgardian. Death would have come to you soon enough.
Malekith. Malekith was the extremely underwhelming villain in 2013's equally disappointing Thor: The Dark World. The villain's intentions were to unleash the Aether on the universe during the event known as the Convergence, when the 9 realms aligned, but he was defeated and apparently killed when he was crushed by his own spaceship. But given that Malekith had the Aether in his possession when the ship landed on him, and we now know the Aether is the reality stone of the MCU, there's every chance that he could have survived the impact, or that the Aether could have transported him elsewhere in the universe, or even absorbed him into it. It's an interesting idea, but given how poorly received Christopher Eccleston's character was, nobody would be too upset if it didn't turn out to be true, right?
Build a statue for me.
We will build a big statue for you.
With my helmet on, with the big bendy horns.
And that's the end of our video. Did you enjoy it? Which supposedly dead villains do you think could reappear in the MCU? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Screen Rant for more great videos like this one. Bye for now.